Today, I'd like to do a review on an American book called Replay by Ken Grimwood and a Japanese anime called Tokyo Revengers. The book Replay follows a story with a man named Winston who he's 43 years old. He's having the worst day of his life. He's going through a divorce and he notices he's having a heart attack. He falls on the ground. Everything goes blank and he dies. All this is within the first page of the book. But then he wakes up and regains his consciousness, and he's 18 again, and somehow he's in his past. And he's trying to figure out, is this all a dream, or was the last 20 some years of my life a dream? He sees his friend who committed suicide in the original timeline and notices he's still alive. He uses his knowledge of the future to win the Kentucky Derby, and he becomes very wealthy. But then he tries to use his knowledge of the future to reconnect with some people or maybe improve some relationships or friendships. At that point, he realized ignorance can be a bless. I mean, it's kind of creepy when people you don't know and never met know personal information about you. He meets other replayers, he changes historical events, and he dies and relives his life over and over again. And the story was quite fascinating. And it was actually a teacher when I was in high school who recommended me this book, but I would never actually read it until 5 years later. I was telling my friend about that book, and he recommended a show called Tokyo Revengers. The story follows a young Japanese boy named Tamagichi Hamagaki, mostly known as Tamagichi. Very similar story. He's a 27-year-old Japanese man who hates his life. His boss is younger than him. He's a virgin. And his only girlfriend he's ever had was murdered. He's standing in front of a bus or train, and somebody pushes him in front of the train. And just like that, everything goes blank. And then he's walking with his friends in 2003 in a daze, and he gains consciousness, and somehow he went back in time. Just like Winston in Replay, he only can bring back his memories and his consciousness, and he's trying to change the past. He gets involved with the Japanese gang, and the story was very similar. The whole idea that someone could go back in time but only send their memories and their consciousness back in time to possess their younger body. And it's quite interesting. Ken Grimwood's novel, Replay, actually was a huge success in Japan. And I couldn't help but to wonder if Ken Wakui, the author of Tokyo Revengers, was inspired by Ken Grimwood's novel. I also thought it was kind of weird both of their first names was Ken. He never gave any credit to the book or novel Replay, but you can't deny the similarities. Both stories are so uniquely similar and they have a lot in common. And there's been a lot of theories and ideas. What would happen if we go back in time? Some people believe in predestinational loops. You see that in Terminator, Jack and Daxter, where the best way to describe it is if a plane hit your home, you got depressed, you built a time machine, and you go back in time, and the plane that hit your home was your time machine. You're both the cause and the effect. We saw that in Terminator when they went back in time to bring John Connor's DNA and the chip that led to Skynet. Some people believe time is like a tree and you'll just split off into an alternate reality. Other people believe time is like a river, and if you went back in time, you would create a splash that would affect both the past, present, and future. Many people believe it's impossible to go back in time. I did more research on Ken Grimwood and time travel. We've had time travel stories since ever, but we never really had the idea for a time machine until H.G. Wells' novel The Time Machine, which came out in 1890. Ken Grimwood wrote a number of novels, but the only one that really took off was Replay. He had a collection of movies he liked to keep to himself, and in 2003 he wanted to write a sequel to Replay, but he unfortunately died of a heart attack. And unlike his main character, he did not go back in time, and that's when his time ended.